Hey, it's Larry O'Connor here. Are you working on the Hill or at a think tank, or are you a young professional desiring a career in American politics? Click right here to learn more about Hillsdale College's part-time MA in government degree and incredibly generous scholarship.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey, it's Larry O'Connor here. Are you working on the Hill or at a think tank, or are you a young professional desiring a career in American politics? Click right here to learn more about Hillsdale College's part-time MA in government degree and incredibly generous scholarships.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Southbound traffic on DC 295 northbound between the 11th Street Bridge and Eastern Avenue. Within the delay, there's an accident northbound at Burroughs Avenue, and southbound also very slow from Burroughs Avenue to East Capitol Street. And delays continue southbound between South Capitol Street and the Beltway, headed southbound on 295. 395 remains slow northbound between 110 and the 14th Street Bridge, and the freeway is jammed up from the 14th Street Bridge to the 3rd Street Tunnel. And delays continue towards 6th Street Navy Yard. Outbound on the Suitland Parkway, that is still heavy from South Capitol Street towards First Sterling Avenue, where the left lane is blocked with sinkhole repair work. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Clouds will increase this evening and into the overnight, with temperatures by early tomorrow morning near 40 degrees. Can't rule out a stray shower or two. Sunshine returns tomorrow afternoon, mid-50s, near 60 on Sunday, mid-60s on Monday. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
2 in Washington, I'm Heather Curtis on WMAL.
Now broadcasting from the underground triangle, the bowels of a hidden pocket, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Art, the Dan.
Here, our number 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. We'll be taking calls at the end of the program, near the end of the program. Holy moly, do we have a lot going on today. You're at the right place at the right time. 3 hours, we could be doing 5 hours. We could be doing 5 hours. And by the way, in hour 3, our power hour, we're going to have, is it hour 3, Mr. Producer? Kevin McCarthy. Tell us what he thinks about the Democrats. Now, there's a lot going on. Donald Trump put the hammer down on Iran. He put the hammer down on Russia. They put the hammer down on the Hitler Youth. I mean, it's really quite incredible. New York Post. Trump threatens massive sanctions on Russia for continued attacks on Ukraine. Tells Moscow and Kiev, get to the table right now. President Trump threatened massive sanctions against Russia today over its continued attacks on Ukraine as he attempted to broker a ceasefire, before predicting later in the day that Vladimir Putin would be more generous than he has to be in peace talks. See, a lot of what Trump does is he positions himself and he positions the other parties based on the fact that Russia's absolutely pounding Ukraine on the battlefield right now, he wrote. I'm strongly considering large-scale banking sanctions, other sanctions, tariffs on Russia, until a ceasefire and final settlement agreement on peace is reached, he wrote on True Social. To Russia and Ukraine, get to the table right now before it's too late. Thank you. He's trying to pressure both sides to end the war. His aides are due to meet next week with Ukraine officials in Saudi Arabia. So there will be a meeting next week between American and Russian officials via Saudi Arabia. Trump told reporters in the Oval Office today, thought Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky was too resistant to making peace. Ukraine has got to get on the ball and get a job done. There we go. Very interesting. What about Iran? The Islamo-Nazi state of Iran. President was on with Maria Bartiromo, who's a very sweet lady, by the way, very nice person. And here's how that interview went with respect to Iran. Cut one, go.
There are reports now that Russia says it will help the United States negotiate a nuclear deal with Iran. What kind of a deal with Iran do you want to do? You said they cannot have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. No, well, there are two ways Iran can be handled, militarily or you make a deal. I would prefer to make a deal because I'm not looking to hurt Iran. They're great people. I know so many Iranians from this country.
Well, not the leadership.
No, not the leadership.
The people.
They're very evil people. No, but the people of Iran are great people. But they had a tough regime, and they'd meet and they'd be shot in the streets. I mean, it was a tough deal. But I would rather negotiate a deal. I'm not sure that everybody agrees with me, but we can make a deal that would be just as good as if you won militarily. But the time is happening now. The time is coming up. Something's going to happen one way or the other. I hope that Iran, and I've written them a letter saying, I hope you're going to negotiate, because if we have to go in militarily, it's going to be a terrible thing for them.
You wrote a letter to the Khomeini.
Yes.
When did you send the letter?
Yesterday.
And you said you better negotiate, or we want you to
I didn't say
negotiate.
you better. I said, I hope you're going to negotiate, because it's going to be a lot better for Iran. And I think they want to get that letter. The other alternative is we have to do something, because you can't let them have a nuclear weapon.
Goes on, cut two, go.
And that's going to be the next thing you'll be talking about is Iran. What's going to happen with Iran? And there'll be some interesting days ahead. That's all I can tell you. You know, we're down to final strokes with Iran. That's going to be an interesting time. And we'll see what happens. But we're down to the final moments. We're at final moments. Can't let them have a nuclear weapon. I think that I would have had a deal within 1 month after the rigged election of 2020. They were all set to make a deal. And then when I lost, I saw this person who's a stupid person, very stupid person. And they said, let's not make a deal. And they were right. He took the sanctions off. They became rich under Biden. They went from having no money to having $300 billion, all in a short period. It's oil. Oil builds up fast. It's a nice living if you have a nice oil well. And they do. They have a lot of nice oil wells, right? So anyway, so it's going to be a big thing. It's an interesting time in the history of the world, but we have a situation with Iran that something's going to happen very soon, very, very soon. You'll be talking about that pretty soon, I guess. And hopefully we can have a peace deal. You know, I'm not speaking out of strength or weakness. I'm just saying I'd rather see a peace deal than the other, but the other will solve the problem.
And he's not kidding, because the clock is almost up. They're ready to break out with 6 nuclear weapons, or enough material to build 6 nuclear weapons. And once they have that material, there's no going back. There's no going back. So he's made it abundantly clear. It's not just negotiation. It needs to be some kind of deal. It needs to be quick. And I can't imagine what kind of deal it would be. They cut deals with the UN. They cut deals with Europe. They cut deals with Obama. They lie. They cheat. You know why? They're terrorists. That's what terrorists do. They'll sign anything. They don't care. They're terrorists. They don't abide by the rules. I'll tell you what I think's going on, and I don't have any inside information. I think President Trump is setting the stage for a potential military strike. And he wants to be clear that he tried peace. He wanted negotiation. He sent them a letter. Maybe they'll respond. Maybe they won't. Maybe they'll do rope-a-dope. He's not an idiot. He's not a fool. He knows what he's doing. So he's at least creating the environment where something else can be done other than military. But they know a lot. You know that the Iranians are trying to rebuild their ground-to-air defenses, as a matter of fact, and so forth and so on. And for Israel to hit these sites, you know, Israel needs the proper weapons to do so. So all that has to be taken into consideration. The Gulf states want Iran taken out. They all do. But he's made it clear they're not getting nuclear weapons. Not on his watch. Very, very important. And I really don't think that he's going to back down from that. Absolutely don't think he's going to back off from the disaster that would be in every respect, right? I know a lot of Iranian Americans too. They're patriotic as hell. And they want this Khomeini out. And I don't blame them. Most of the free world wants Khomeini out. Most of the Arab world wants Khomeini out. And when he is out, if he's out, if that regime is toppled, and if the people of Iran can take their government back, you'll see a lot of this terrorist activity is going to abate because Iran funds so damn much of it. That's the truth. Mike Waltz in the Oval Office today, again, tons of stuff going on in foreign policy. It's not because President Trump is prioritizing foreign policy. It's because it's there. It's in your face. What are you going to do? You got to deal with it. You're president. And you see what he said to Russia. He shows Russia the friendly hand, and he shows Russia the fist in the same day within 2 hours, because that's what he does. Mike Waltz in the Oval Office today, he's asked, what about Ukraine? Are these talks going to get back going? And by the way, I think I've been the most outspoken and earliest, by far, advocate of getting this minerals deal done. For all the reasons I've discussed till I'm blue in the face for weeks. This minerals deal needs to get done. It is a big, big deal for us, Ukraine, and that part of the world. There's only upsides. Cut 3, go.
The president has been crystal clear, and he's been clear to all sides. The fighting has to stop. Both sides get to the table. We had a good engagement. Both leaders have said only President Trump could do so, and only he has been able to do so. We had an initial engagement with the Russians. The Ukrainians had a great opportunity to bind our economies together through that mineral deal. Unfortunately, that didn't go so well, but we think we're going to get things back on track. Secretary Rubio, myself and Ukrainian delegation will be meeting in Saudi Arabia next week to get these talks back on track, get the ceasefire in place, and drive peace home.
President Trump to be parties wanted to. I think if I wasn't president, this war would have had no chance of settlement, zero chance. But I think we're going to get it settled and stopped. We got to stop. They're losing on average 2,000 soldiers a week. That's a lot of soldiers.
Yes, it is a lot of soldiers. And we need those minerals. We really do. I hope you'll listen to Life, Liberty, and Levin tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. I can tell you these are two killer shows. I mean, really killer shows. And I'm going to discuss in the opening at great length what's been going on our college campuses, what the president and his administration has been doing about it, what more they're going to do about it, more options that they'll have, and the role that the country of Qatar has played in funding massively our colleges and universities, turning them against us, the United States of America, turning them into anti-Semitic hellholes. You're not going to believe what Qatar has done. And Qatar plays both sides, just as they funded Hamas. We literally have individuals in this country who are suck-ups to this regime, to this terrorist regime, who claim to love America when they obviously hate America. Qatar is funding terrorists. They're funding Hamas. And not just Hamas. So people are going to have to take a side, one way or the other. You stand with Qatar, you stand with the United States of America. It's that simple. Qatar's not alone. But their two-faced chameleon-like activity where they pretend to be our friend, where they buy politicians, where they buy law firms, where they buy businessmen, has kind of come to an end. And one of the things I call for is a list of all the people of associations with this terrorist regime in and out of our government who have significant positions. We, the American people, have a right to know. Qatar is the enemy. It's the enemy of the United States. It's pouring billions and billions of dollars into our country, into terrorist front groups in our country, into terrorist promoting protesters and faculty in our country. In our country. That's right. We'll expose that. Please watch that Saturday night, followed by my guest, General Jack Keane, and my guest, Leo Terrell. It's a killer show tomorrow night. If you're not sure you're going to be able to watch it, please set your DVR, TiVo, or however you record it. Sunday is unbelievable. My first guest is Senator Ted Cruz, and we go deep. But you're going to love my opening statement. I'm not going to get into it. You're going to love it. And my second guest, you probably never heard of and you probably never seen, and that's one of the things I love to do on my program, bring people to you who you need to hear. The deep state is an international phenomenon. It crosses national borders. The deep state in the United States is also the deep state in Israel and in other places. Dark money funding it, radical left-wing groups involved in it. You're going to learn things you didn't know. Two great shows, 8 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday on Fox. I'll be right back.
What?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Folks, let me tell you something. You need to join AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, right now. I'm not kidding. You care about your country, your freedom, and your hard-earned money. AMAC is the organization that fights for you. Unlike that other so-called senior organization that's sold out to the radical left, AMAC stands for conservative values, limited government, lower taxes, protecting your Social Security, and defending our Constitution. And listen to this. Right now, when you sign up for a 5-year membership for just $31, normally $60, don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit amac.us/Levin, amac.us/Levin. Join today. AMAC is growing fast because patriots like you are joining the fight. They give you exclusive, unbelievable discounts and benefits on travel, insurance, and so much more. But most importantly, they give you a voice in Washington. So don't wait. Join the Association of Mature American Citizens. Go to amac.us/Levin, amac.us/Levin.
Slow going traffic on 66 westbound between the Beltway and 123 and from Route 28 Centerville towards 234. Couple of incidents in Virginia. There's a disabled vehicle northbound on Gallows Road at Woodburn Road in the right lane. And there is a crash in Springfield on Frontier Drive at Franconia Road. On 95, look for slowing traffic heading southbound from Springfield towards Woodbridge and from Dale City towards Quantico. Northbound, very heavy from Lorton heading to the Beltway, and 395 still a slow go northbound between 110 and the 14th Street Bridge, and on and off delays southbound between Washington Boulevard and the Beltway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, turning cloudy with a slight chance of showers, a low around 40. Tomorrow, sunny, a high near 52.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
The second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs continues on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. The app is so simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today, use the code ROAM, and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 in bonus credit just for playing, and it's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donut Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donutshoes.org.
School absences are often due to the absence of necessary resources. But when Communities in Schools is present, students are connected to the support they need to show up ready to learn. Visit communitiesinschools.org. Being present matters.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company, weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here, getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
As a young adult at this point in your life, you probably have a lot of questions. Like, what's next? What does my future hold? The thing is, there's no right answer, only your answer. Your friendships, experiences, and purpose. It's all your choice. So what will you choose? As you make choices about the future, the military can be a resource for information to help bring a fulfilling path into focus. A public service message from the Department of Defense. To learn more, visit todaysmilitary.com.
Moved by Trump, Putin, Europe rushes to rearm.
At a meeting in Europe the other day with most of the European nations, they're going to significantly increase defense spending. I believe that's a good thing, don't you? AP, Poland, and Baltic nations welcome Macron's nuclear deterrent proposal. Now, Macron's a lot of talk. We'll see if he follows through. His proposal is to put nuclear weapons in Poland and the Baltic nations. We shall see if that happens. I like it all. We need the mineral deal. That would be fantastic. Europe will muscle up big. That's long overdue. And Mr. Nuclear Weapons, Putin, who has more nuclear warheads than any country on the face of the earth, including us, and they're modernized, and most of ours are not. Well, Poland and the Baltic nations, that's what he's eyeballing. That's what he has said in the past he really wants. Up to Ukraine, to Poland, and the Baltic nations. During periods of economic uncertainty, gold should be the safe haven you're looking for. Unlike stocks or bonds, it's a physical asset that gives investors peace of mind. Gold has been a valued investment for thousands of years. That's why I put my own money into things like gold with Advantage Gold, because I believe in diversification. Call 800-900-8000. Join me in this investment strategy. Folks, when the stock market has its ups and downs, gold remains a rock-solid asset. It's not just a hedge. It can be a proven safe haven for your hard-earned money. You're looking to help secure your financial future. Now's the time to diversify, to add gold to your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today. They're the experts I trust, and they'll walk you through everything step by step. Call 800-900-8000 right now. Take steps to control your future. That's 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Media station, making sense of the news. News now.
WMAL News at 6:30. I'm Heather Curtis. Breaking this hour, a former soldier stationed in Arlington is sentenced to 70 years in prison today for the 1994 cold case murder of a stranger inside her West Springfield home. 53-year-old Stefan Smirk pleaded guilty last year to breaking into Robin Lawrence's home in 1994 and stabbing her 49 times while her 2-year-old daughter was in the next room. Oscar-winning actor Gene Hackman and his wife, whose bodies were found inside their Santa Fe home last Wednesday, both died from natural causes. The medical examiner says Hackman died from heart disease and complications from Alzheimer's, likely on February 18th. His wife died of hantavirus about a week earlier. Traffic and weather next.
If you're listening to sports, you're looking for an edge rusher, looking for a run stuffer, you're looking for a player mixed with pop culture, sprinkled with celebrity interviews. The title "Everybody Loves Raymond" is appropriate for you. We'll tell people. Hurry it up.
It's appropriate on your enthusiasm.
Bill Burr is here.
Defeated to get that title as best dad ever.
Saga of Dads. You're enjoying the Rich Eisen Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
While serving in Iraq, our vehicle was hit. They didn't think I was going to make it. I'm Latoya Lucas, and I'm a veteran. I had to learn to live with the scars, both visible and invisible.
EAV helps veterans like Latoya get the benefits they've earned. They help more than 1 million veterans every year.
My victory is overcoming my wounds so I can help other veterans.
Support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donut Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donutshoes.org.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's disease research program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
How's it going? I'm having a stroke. Are you going to shake my hand? I'm having a stroke. Wow, you're not even moving your arm. I'm having a stroke.
When someone is having a stroke, they may not be able to say it with words, but their body language will tell you loud and clear. Look for FAST, F, face drooping, A, arm weakness, S, speech difficulty, T, time to call 911 immediately. Know the sudden signs. Spot a stroke fast. Visit strokeassociation.org. Brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
America's most powerful conservative voice, The Mark Levin Show. Dial in now, 877-381-3811.
The only people who do not acknowledge what that gentleman just said are the people in this business. It's the strangest damn thing. And yet when the authors want to be heard, they come here. When politicians want to get the vote out, they come here. When there's key votes on budgets and things like that, they come here. They call my phone. I don't take all the calls, but they call my phone. They know where to go. Not because of me, because of you. And the reason they come here is because you are mission-oriented. Because you are patriots. You're not just casual listeners. You're the Paul Reveres. You're the Thomas Paines. We discuss things, you hear things, and you pass it on to the next person. Who passes it on to the next person. That's the power of this program. The audience is so massive. The first level audience, the secondary level audience, the third level audience, it's so massive that they can't even count it. Nielsen has no shot at it. No shot at it whatsoever. You might recall a few weeks back, there was an effort to divide Donald Trump and me. President Trump and I, excuse me, we're very, very close friends. We're very good friends. I don't take advantage of it like some people do. I don't ask for things. I don't harass him. But we do talk from time to time. Sometimes on just social things, sometimes on big things. And I keep that to myself. As you can imagine, I would. But again, not frequently, because I don't bother him. He's a huge fan of this radio show, and he's a huge fan of my Fox TV show. And when it comes to Ukraine and Russia, my views are well known. They may not be in sync with everybody else's views. It may not be in sync with your views. That happens, doesn't it? But you know where I'm coming from, and you know why I'm coming from a particular position, whether you agree with me or not. Nothing extreme or radical about my views, not about warmongers and neocons, as the sleazeballs like to say, because they can't say much else. No, that's not where we're coming from here. I've been doing this a long time now. My views are quite consistent, as are my principles. So I came on the radio and I gave you my views about Ukraine and Russia, which had nothing to do with challenging the administration, attacking the administration, or anything of the sort. My views on Ukraine, my views on Putin, are not hidden. I speak behind a microphone where millions of people hear me. And I've been doing this for a long time. I've been doing it since Russia invaded Ukraine. So nothing I said that day was any different than anything I said any other day. But it was, woo, he's defying Trump. Woo, he's attacking Trump. Woo. The president and I spoke about that afterwards, and we laughed. He said, Mark, they're trying to do that with Elon Musk and me. They're trying to do that with other people and me. It's not going to work. I said, no way, Mr. Bray. He said, absolutely not. We've come too far to allow them to come between us. I'm being honest with you. And so it's in that context I want to play for you. Brother Wilkow found this, provided it to Mr. Producer. Andrew Wilkow, by the way, is a tremendous broadcaster. He's a great guy, too. James Carville, who was on the Dan Abrams podcast. This is from February 21, I'm told. Now, what's amazing about these two is I could spend 20 years talking about things that I think are crucial to the country, that are very, very important, and then they'll pretend you don't exist. That's how that works in this industry. That's how it works in this industry. That's how it works with Talk Magazine, which to me is a big joke. That's just how it works. But if you say something where they think they can seize on it to attack Donald Trump or to attack a Ronald Reagan or something, that's when they jump. You remember I talked about this. So this goes back a few weeks, but we'll take a little listen to it. Cut 4, go.
But James, when it comes to, for example, Ukraine, you've suddenly seen Republicans push back. And as a result, Trump seems to be tempering his language a little bit. It seems to be having an impact, no?
No. Well, look, when Mark Levin leaves the house.
Right.
Okay.
I made that point yesterday.
Yeah. Wow. I could, and I listened to, I think it's 125 on the satellite. All right. And I'll listen to it. And that guy is like the most passionate. Democrats hate America. He's not just, he's a right winger. Okay. He's like, James Carville is truly an evil person who can't stand the United States of America. Okay. Fine. But I will give on Ukraine and John Bolton, who might be the most hawkish senior official in any administration.
All right, I don't want to be associated with him, but you get the point. My view is the same today as it was on February 21st, as it was in 2004, 2003, and before. I also think Donald Trump came up with this brilliant, this genius plan on these minerals. Nobody else came up with that. He did. And I've been pushing it and pushing it and pushing it hard. And I've been urging the administration, okay, I got it. Everybody's upset with Zelensky, but that deal helps us. Let's get the deal done. We need those rare earth minerals. The Russians and the communist Chinese want them. We'll have this economic alliance and fusion of our citizens. It's the perfect outcome. And then you negotiate the other issues afterwards. Zelensky blew it. I've said it over and over and over again. He's trying to get back in. And it was good to hear Waltz today say that he, and I think it was Rubio, they're going to meet with the Ukrainians in Saudi Arabia next week and try and jumpstart this thing. Good. Good. That's good for our country, too. Big time. It's good for the Ukrainians, too. Big time. Big time. Literally a brilliant idea. Trump comes up with these ideas. Nobody else comes up with ideas like that. So the Dan Abrams podcast won't mention that, will it, Mr. Producer? Not that I care. I'm just making a point. I think that's very important that we get that done. I think it's great that Europe is going to muscle up its military. It's got to move. It's got to get on it. And now we need to muscle up our military. I discussed that with General Jack Keane on Saturday as well, tomorrow night. He told me something. I knew it was bad. I didn't know it was this bad. He said in every single area, the Chinese are now ahead of us except for nuclear subs. Number of warships, number of warplanes. Now, they don't have as many nuclear missiles as we do, but in 10 years, they're going to have more. And they're going to be brand spanking new. The point is they have seriously muscled up over the last 20 years, and particularly in the last 7 or 8 years. And they are serious about what they're doing. The Philippine government is warning the world. They're seizing Philippine islands, threatening others. The Australian government's warning the world that a live fire exercise in Australian waters right off the coast. Who does that? They do. The Japanese government has warned that they're claiming the right to islands that the communist Chinese, that is China, period, has never had, that are off the coast of Japan. They're claiming territorial control over the South China Sea, which is a disaster. Trillions of dollars of goods flow there, as do our Navy and other navies. And of course, they don't have any territory there, so they build it. These islands that they created. They have airfields. They have satellite systems and radar systems. They have missile systems. They're built for an offensive war. They're built for an offensive war. It's a serious military over there. Meanwhile, we have money for everything and anything. We're pushing billions and billions out the door in the last days of that prior regime. Money to a Stacey Abrams related organization, money to this, money to that, money all over the place, billions and billions, but not enough money for our military. And yet, really, the number one responsibility of the federal government, the national government, is our security against foreign foes. Money for everything but that. The president's going to fix that. He plans to fix that. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Chris Plant here, inviting you to join me and my best girl this July on our Listener Sea Cruise to Iceland. It's going to be a great group of Americans on our cruise, cruising together on Regent Seven Seas' brand new ultra-luxury ship, the Grandeur. Iceland has so much incredible stuff to offer: majestic scenery, waterfalls, hot springs, and a whole lot more. Book now, though. Space is limited. Visit ChrisPlantCruise.com for all the details. That's ChrisPlantCruise.com.
You will still find delays on the Baltimore Washington Parkway headed northbound through Riverdale between 450 and the Beltway. Delays continue in towards Greenbelt between Nassau Goddard and 197, and southbound some slowing from Laurel in towards Greenbelt. DC 295 slowing southbound between Eastern Avenue and Benning Road, and some slowing northbound as well between the 11th Street Bridge and Eastern Avenue. In Virginia, there is accident activity on Frontier Drive at Franconia Road, and a disabled vehicle on the northbound lanes of Gallows Road at Woodburn Road. Use caution there. Still some slowing in Fairfax on westbound 66 between the Beltway and 123, and more delays in towards Centerville. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Watch 7 forecast.
Tonight, turning cloudy with a slight chance of showers, a low around 40. Tomorrow, sunny, a high near 52.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino brings his expert insight to today's biggest news stories.
Anywhere else.
Tackling hot-button issues with unmatched energy. and a passion for the truth.
To put one of the many to the show. On your cerebral cortex in this one.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Imagine the hospital experience. There's a constant parade of serious doctors, countless tests, and a serious diagnosis. Scary surgeries are followed by painful recoveries. You're in the hospital for days, weeks, months. Now imagine you're a child. This is why Starlight exists. Starlight programs help kids in the hospital cope, build resilience, bolster confidence, and change their outlook, because happiness matters. Visit starlight.org to learn more.
Making sense of your world on the go. Stream your favorite shows, get the day's top headlines, and access our podcast archives, all with the new WMAL app.
This is for you.
Get the WMAL app on Google Play or the Apple App Store, and stay connected.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
The worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Attention all patriots, we have a surprise for you, and it's a real mystery. For a limited time, we're offering you a free Trump mystery box. You just pay shipping and handling. Yes, a mystery box containing Trump's second-term commemorative memorabilia to add to your collection. Trump beanies, Trump socks, Trump gold tone bars. What's your surprise? Go to freetrumpbox.com and claim yours today. Absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and handling fee starting at $13.99. Visit freetrumpbox.com. Pay a small shipping and handling fee and order your free Trump mystery box today. Paid for by Entramax.
Making sense of your world.
Radio is where I get all of my information.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news. Chris Plant, weekdays 9 to noon on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
That's all the right answers. Give me an example. Mr. Producer, by the way, will you send me the article links again? They disappeared on my computer. If I went to Russia, do you think they'd let me out, Mr. Producer? If I went to communist China, do you think they'd let me out, Mr. Producer? If I went to Qatar, do you think they'd let me out, Mr. Producer? If I went to Saudi Arabia, you think they'd let me out, Mr. Producer? No, I don't think any of them would. Do you, America? Yeah. And then there's some guys out there who have subscription-based platforms or podcasts or whatever they call them. They're welcome with open arms by Qatar. Welcome with open arms by Putin. Sure, why not? Welcome with open arms by the Crown Prince of Nudnik over there in Saudi Arabia. Why not? Because they're mouthpieces for the enemy. And the patriots in this country who speak out and call out the enemy are smeared. Oh, you must be a neocon. I'm not a communist, though. I'm not a fascist. No, I'm not an appeaser. I'm not a sellout to all these countries. You know that old line, follow the money. Follow the money with these people. Exactly where does that money come from? That help them start different websites or help them start podcasts or help them start subscription service or help them do whatever they do. Follow the money. Because Qatar spreads the money around. These Middle East fiefdoms, they spread the money around like nobody else. Like nobody else. We've got senators and congressmen who retire, who are on the payroll of Qatar. Their law firms are on the payroll of Qatar. And so these senators and congressmen know to bend over backwards for Qatar. Menendez, one of the countries that provided him with, well, you know, stuff, was Qatar. He was the chairman of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. Ooh, do tell. And Qatar poured $1.8 billion into Hamas. And Qatar gave safe haven to the 5 billionaires that ran Hamas. And Qatar owns Al Jazeera, a virulently anti-American, state-owned media outlet, much like our own media, but a little different. Qatar pushed out the Hamas propaganda. Even today it does. Yet apparently Qatar is a mediator for us. Isn't that weird, Mr. Producer? How can they mediate anything? Well, in any event, they're doing God's work. I know this to be the case because somebody who works with them said they're doing God's work. Yes, they're doing God's work. No, they're not. They're not doing God's work. God's not a terrorist. God doesn't hate America. God doesn't hate Christians and Jews. No, they're not doing God's work. It's a phony monarchy. These are inbreds. It's a tiny country where 20% of the population is Qatari. The other 80%, foreign laborers. They happen to be on a wellspring of oil. So they buy politicians. They buy law firms. They buy billionaires. They buy individuals who have a lot of influence. They buy sports teams. Do you know they own part of the Washington, I think it's the hockey team and basketball team, Mr. Producer? Do you know they gave $5 million to the Medal of Honor facility that's being built? See, they know how to spread it around, don't they? They have their own golf association. Oh, yeah. They try to, that there's some kind of a mainstream, society. There's nothing mainstream about these bastards. Do you think if I asked the Prince of Qatar, whatever the hell he is, to come on this program, he'd come on this program? No. How about the Prince of Saudi Arabia? No. You think Putin would allow me to interview him? No. How about Xi? No. Wow. Doesn't that say something? They know who their friends are. They know who their mouthpieces are. In World War II, Imperial Japan, that they put forward Tokyo Rose. She was a propagandist. And they put her on radio. And she will put out the propaganda for the Japanese regime. We have a lot of Tokyo Roses in this country. We really do. Tokyo Roses, Tokyo Robbies, all over the place. Have you joined the mass exodus yet, folks? That's right. People are leaving the big three wireless companies in droves. Because in my view and theirs, they're getting ripped off. And they're going to my wireless company, Pure Talk. People who understand paying $100 a month per line know that that's a ripoff just so they can get a so-called free phone. That's ridiculous. It's not free. Well, friends, Pure Talk is saying no to inflated prices. With a qualifying plan, you can choose an iPhone 14 that has everything you need, or a Samsung Galaxy for $0. Nothing. Yes, this is for premium service on America's most dependable 5G network. So get your iPhone 14 or Samsung Galaxy for $0 with a qualifying plan by dialing pound 250, say the keyword Mark Levin. Pound 250, keyword Mark Levin. Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team. That's right, it's based in America. We'll help you make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. No hassle, no gimmicks, no stress. Just honest to goodness wireless priced right right here in the United States of America. Dial pound 250, say the keyword Mark Levin, claim your new iPhone or Galaxy with qualifying purchase truly for $0. Get it from Pure Talk, America's wireless company, my wireless company, founded by a veteran, employs patriots right here in the United States of America. Visit puretalk.com for details. We've only just begun. We'll be right back.
Making sense of your world.
Thank you for your insight.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. This is a major wake-up call. Making sense of the news.
Be different for dinner. Searching restaurants near me.
Right here, ma'am. How can we help?
Gee, same old, same old.
Wait, we're right here. Ma'am, our restaurant's just a few blocks from you. Why is she not seeing us?
Back to the usual, I guess.
Ma'am, can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you because you're buried deep in the list of local restaurants. You are invisible online. Introducing Cumulus Boost. Get a boost, get found, get on the map. Learn more at cumulusboost.com.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association. Join us at nda75.org.
Illuminating the issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
Every day. News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today. Happy kids heal faster. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to hospitals across the country. Learn more at starlight.org.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align, because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. Stock 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 7. I'm Heather Curtis. New this hour, the University of Virginia Board of Visitors passes a resolution getting rid of the university's DEI office and ordering a review of all programs and policies to make sure they comply with Trump administration guidance. The administration sent a memo to schools last month telling them to get rid of DEI programs or lose federal funding. Meanwhile, the president's making good on a promise to pull federal funding from schools that allow what he called illegal protests. The Trump administration cut $400 million in grants and contracts to Columbia, saying the school's not doing enough to protect Jewish students as pro-Palestinian protests continue there this week.
Columbia University responded to this funding cut, saying they understand how serious this is. They said this in part: "We are reviewing the announcement from the federal agencies and pledge to work with the federal government to restore Columbia's federal funding."
Fox's Alexis McAdams. President Trump praising last month's jobs report, which showed employers created 151,000 jobs, including 10,000 in manufacturing. The number was solid, but under the 160,000 expected by economists. Economists say the bulk of the mass firings of federal workers happened too late to be fully captured in the federal numbers. Still, the president doesn't think the firings will weaken the labor market.
I think the labor market's going to be fantastic, but it's going to have high-paying manufacturing jobs as opposed to government jobs. We had too many people in government. You can't just do that. We had many too many. This is for 40 years.
At least 10,000 federal workers filed for unemployment in February. Maryland's Attorney General Anthony Brown now asking for a temporary restraining order in a multi-state lawsuit he filed, challenging the legality of the sudden firing of probationary employees. The order asked for firings to stop and laid off workers to be reinstated while the lawsuit's heard. Brown says the Trump administration didn't give the states the legally required 60 days notice so they can take steps to mitigate the harm caused by the layoffs. Instead, he says President Trump
He blindsided our state and fired thousands of federal probationary workers who live in Maryland and across the country.
The lawsuit argues the ongoing and sudden mass firings are straining state resources to support workers. As the Trump administration calls federal workers back to their offices, Transit Secretary Sean Duffy's contacting district leaders, telling them to do more to make people's commutes safer.
Among those contacted by the secretary, Mayor Muriel Bowser and WMATA GM Randy Clark. To the mayor, Duffy voiced concerns with the district's roadway compliance to federal safety standards. The secretary also said, despite WMATA's latest numbers showing a 40% decrease for 2024, Metro has to do a better job in reducing crime. WMATA said via a statement they look forward to working with federal partners, including the D.C. Attorney General, to enhance America's metro system. Secretary Duffy also reached out to Amtrak CEO Stephen Gardner, expressing a need for a safer Union Station. Scott Lynn on WMAL and WMAL.com.
The head of the AFL-CIO slamming DHS for ending the collective bargaining agreement with nearly 50,000 TSA security officers. Liz Schuller says it's, quote, dangerous union busting ripped from the pages of Project 2025. The department says the agreement hinders its ability to keep travelers safe by allowing poor performers to stay on the job. Traffic and weather next.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
It's how we build our schools. It's how we build our workplaces. It's how we build our homes. It's how we build our futures.
Whether it's commercial or residential, Patriot Contractors is ready to help with your building or remodeling needs, locally and veteran owned. Learn more about Patriot Contractors at patriotcontractorsusa.com or call them at 615-489-0578.
Here's Michelle Murray in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Some slowing on 95 traveling northbound from Lorton heading towards the Beltway, and southbound is slow from Springfield towards Woodbridge, and more delays heading in towards Fredericksburg from Plank Road towards 17 in Spotsylvania. Beltway still some delays on the inner loop through Annandale between 236 and Gallows Road, and from the Toll Road to the Spring, your delays continuing towards Bethesda and College Park, and some slowing in Landover. Outer loop still heavy from Telegraph Road to the Wilson Bridge, and some delays headed through Bethesda from the spur headed towards the Georgetown Pike. Watch out for a disabled vehicle on westbound 50 at Sullyfield Circle in Chantilly, and an accident in Springfield on Frontier Drive at Franconia Road. Now from GarageRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Clouds will increase this evening and into the overnight with temperatures by early tomorrow morning near 40 degrees. Can't rule out a stray shower or two. Sunshine returns tomorrow afternoon, mid-50s, near 60 on Sunday, mid-60s on Monday. I'm 7 News meteorologist Steve Rudin in the First Alert Weather Center.
61 degrees in Washington. I'm Heather Curtis. Sun News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Mark Levin.
In the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader. All right, but then.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Hour 2, Friday evening. We keep our foot on the gas pedal, no screwing around here. We have good plans for the weekends, great plans for the weekend. 8 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, Life, Liberty, and Levin. Don't miss it. Or maybe you're doing something when the show is running. Okay, it's just like radio. You have the power to watch that show whenever you want. Just record it on your DVR, on your TiVo, or whatever you have to record things. That's all. It's that simple. We'd love to see you live, but either way, it's okay. You know, you look at the Trump administration. Trump administration has been doing things that the Biden administration said it couldn't. Excuse me, it's been doing things that the Biden administration wouldn't. Let's put it that way. When we look at the Hitler Youth in the streets, the Marxists and the Islamists, well, what do we see? We see that Donald Trump is doing something about it. We're going to have Leo Terrell on tomorrow night, who is spectacular, always has been. He's leading the effort, the all of government effort, all of government, to stamp out this paid-for anti-Semitism, this Jew-hating indoctrination, and right along with it goes the America-hating indoctrination, side by side. I've told you many times, if you hate America, you hate Israel. If you hate Israel, you hate America. And that's true 99.9% of the time. The United States cancels $400 million in grants and contracts to Columbia University over anti-Semitism allegations. And Columbia University is ground zero because historically it's been a heavily Jewish institution. That is, Jewish philanthropists have given enormous sums of money to it. Many Jewish students, many Jewish graduates. It is, after all, in New York. And so what better place? What better place to populate with Jew haters and American haters, Islamists and Marxists than Columbia University? Columbia University has also been funded in part by Qatar. Just so you know. Now, I'm sure there's going to be some radical kook left-wing judge that says, well, the administration can't do this because, we unelected judges aren't even in the Constitution. We're in charge. That's going to be dealt with. That's got to be dealt with. They have a judicial tyranny in Israel that we're going to talk about on Sunday. And our judiciary is growing into a increasingly tyrannical force as well. It certainly is. $400 million in grants and contracts are canceled. That's the effort that's underway right now by the Trump administration. They're doing more than that. They've opened investigations of 10 universities, including Columbia, and they added UCLA to the list. Because you see, there's organizations like Students in Palestine, Students for whatever it is in Palestine. Justice, that's right, justice. Dressed up. Terrorism is justice. Students for Justice in Palestine is a terrorist front organization. And its main foothold is in these California universities, and they've spread throughout the country. They are the biggest force on these college campuses. Not the only one, but the biggest one. And they have connections to these Middle East fiefdoms. They have connections to these Middle East terrorist operations. And you see the clown show, it is too many people tell you that people who oppose Qatar and Iran, they just want to have a war, you see. They just want to have a war. Nobody wants to have a war, you idiots, you morons. You have a terrorist mentality, ideology that's indoctrinating our children, turning them against our country. And then they dress themselves as American firsters. Oh, you're an American firster? Yes, I am. And Qatar is good. And Iran is good. And Putin is good. That's right, I'm American. Is there an enemy of ours that they don't give a wet kiss to? Is there an enemy of ours they don't give a wet kiss to? Seriously. Which one is it? I'd like to know. Which one is it? They call us, we the people, the warmongers. We're not the warmongers. The enemy's the warmonger. Not us. They're the warmonger. How much money have we had to spend on defense and intelligence? How much money have we had to spend on technology to protect us? Not from Ukraine, not from Israel, from Russia, from Red China, from Islamo-Nazi Iran, from the Stalinist that runs the inbred North Korea. That's who we're protecting ourselves from. That's right. Tell me, was George Patton a warmonger? No, he was a war fighter. There is a difference, you know. Was Churchill a warmonger? These coconuts say yes. Churchill. He was a warmonger. You know, Reagan was a warmonger. Thatcher was a warmonger. That's right. Come on now. The Japanese attacked us because they were forced to attack us. They viewed us as a threat. This is their arguments. These are their arguments. Churchill wasn't any good. I mean, what did he win after all? That's right. Churchill's no good. Reagan's no good. Thatcher's no good. That's right. Putin is misunderstood. That's right. Poor Putin. And you can see where this sick, mentally ill mindset drags you into, well, the Third Reich wasn't really what everybody says it was. What are you talking about? We have film. No. It's misunderstood. Don't you understand? That's right. The poor German people after World War I, look how they were left. In a shambles. In a shambles. And of course the Jews had a outsized influence on the banks. Of course they did. Of course the Jews had an outside influence in the media, hence propaganda. Of course they did. Forget the Rothschilds. The Bilderbergers. I don't think they were Jewish. Doesn't matter. We'll say they were. And now it's the neocons, aka the Jews, who want us to go to war with Iran. It's the neocons who want us to go to war with Qatar. Yes, yes. Them. They want us to do these things, you know. And but for them, these neocons, these warmongers, we'd be getting along swimmingly with our Iranian friends. We're getting along beautifully with Putin and the others. But for these Jews, I mean neocons, the neocons, that's right, neocons. They think I don't see this? They think I don't hear this? These pieces? Oh, I see it. I hear it. The same mentality. Warmongers. And they wrap themselves in the cloak of their for America first. They don't have the foggiest idea what America stands for. Not at all. Well, you know, we can't have these forever wars. You know, it's a funny thing. Many of you are people of faith, are you not? What does God tell us? Depending on your faith, the devil exists, right? depending on your faith, evil exists, right? You can't wish it away. You can't just say, what's with this forever devil or this forever evil? You see, ladies and gentlemen, liberty is something that you need to fight for every day. Not necessarily militarily, but you have to fight for it, even in our own country. People want to take it away from you. They want to coerce you. They want to tell you what to do. They want to regulate you. They want to make unlawful things that you want lawful. Liberty is something that you can lose. You need to be resolute about it. We, the American people, know this better than anybody else. This is what our own founders taught us. This is what our framers enshrined in our laws. Because the battle between liberty and tyranny is a forever war. It is a forever war. The battle between good and evil is a forever war. That doesn't mean you support stupid commanders-in-chief. That doesn't mean you support stupid wars. But this phrase, forever war, is a phrase for the numbskulls, for the morons. You can have a war that's done in 30 seconds. It's called a nuclear war. Is that better? You can have a war that's done in 6 months, and if you lose, you're enslaved. Is that better? Should the revolutionaries who created this country, who established this country, who put everything on the line to fight the most powerful military force on the planet, should they have stopped after 2 years and 3 years and 5 years and 6 years? The Revolutionary War went on for over 7 years, almost 8 years. And we lost almost every battle. And the casualties were horrendous. How many of their people were talking about this forever war, you know, you warmongers. Just give the British what they want, that's all. You know, this stuff about representative government, that side of it, it's really not a big deal. The neocons, you know, they're the ones that are pushing this stuff. Oh, yes. Foreign policy is about prudence. It's not about forever. It's not about fast. It's not about ideology. It's prudence. Every situation is different, and we learn from our own history and experience, and we learn from world history and ancient history. If you disarm in the face of a nation or a group of nations that are obviously arming up for war, it will cost your society dearly and may well destroy your society. Ask Athens, ancient Athens. Oh, it doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry. Ask Rome, ancient Rome. Oh, excuse me. It doesn't exist anymore. Wow. And they survived longer than we have. When you add the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire, it was 1,000 years. We're not even at 300. Not even at 300. So don't listen to the morons with the catchphrases. Think for yourselves. Why is China seeking to become the #1 world superpower? Why is it building a navy that is bigger than ours? Why is it in Central and South America? Why is it in Panama? Why is it with Russia in the Arctic Circle? Why are they building and have built killer satellites? Why are they building hypersonic missiles, technology far advanced from what we have, to hit every single inch of the United States? Is that for Taiwan? The Chinese look at the world 1,000 years ahead. They plan for 1,000 years. Wow, that's a forever war, isn't it? Don't listen to the fools and the phonies and the frauds, the grifters. Don't listen to them. I'll be right back.
What?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing.
Oh.
He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Want to get some good discounted food and dining options, reliable roadside assistance, preferred credit card offers, or fraud protection? You need to check out AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. No matter what your age is, you can take advantage of the services they provide for either yourself or your family, and have confidence that their partners stand behind the vision our nation's founders had to enrich the lives of all Americans through goods and services offered by like-minded companies. But joining AMAC isn't just about the benefits. It's about belonging to a community that stands for timeless American values. Regardless of your age, you can enroll in a 5-year AMAC membership for 47% off. Visit amac.us/SRS today to take advantage of this special offer. AMAC's membership is made up of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. We're over 2 million members strong and growing. Their mission is simple: protect the interests of all freedom-loving Americans and offer incredible member benefits. From exclusive discounts on travel insurance and everyday services to supporting strong representation in Washington, D.C., AMAC's here to make a difference in your life and our nation. Visit amac.us/SRS today to join millions of Americans who believe in backing their mission. That's amac.us/SRS. Join AMAC and become a part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
The second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs continues on Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. The app is so simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks app today, use the code ROAM, and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code ROAM on Prize Picks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 in bonus credit just for playing, and it's guaranteed. Prize Picks, run your game. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
After more than a year of war, terror, and pain in Israel, all of Israel is brokenhearted after learning of the tragic deaths of the children who were held hostage in Gaza. And so many are still hurting throughout the Holy Land, where the needs for aid continue to grow. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has supported and will continue to support the families of hostages and other victims of the October 7th terror attacks. With your help, IFCJ has provided financial and emotional help to hostages and their families, and to those healing and rebuilding their broken homes and broken bodies. But the real work is just beginning. Your tax-deductible gift to the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews today will help provide critically needed support to families in Israel, whose lives continue to be destroyed by terror and uncertainty, as Israel remains surrounded by enemies. Please give a gift. Bless Israel and her people by calling 844-866-IFCJ, 844-866-IFCJ. That's 844-866-IFCJ.
Making sense of your world.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Greatly appreciated. Making sense of the news. Breaking news and the inside story
On 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
I love this song. I just sent it to Mr. Producer. It's a very short segment, so let's do our nightly music right here. What do you say? Ready? You're gonna love this. Here we go. We've got a hell of a lot more. In hour 3, we have Kevin McCarthy. So, foot's on the gas pedal, but we need to soothe ourselves just a little bit. Here we go. You're gonna like this. Here we go. Love it. Driving the car, I hear the song, I said to the Mr. Producer, that one. Oh, yeah. Get our video camera in here, Mr. Producer. Yeah, this music is good. Yeah, we only have 20 seconds left. Man, oh man, shivers. We got lots to do. And hey, we like a little music, don't we? I'll be right back. We won a major victory in November, getting America back on the right track. And do you know how you celebrate that victory? By flying your American flag that's made in America, not somewhere overseas like China. Folks, if there's one thing you own that should be made in America, it's your American flag that you hang with pride outside your home. In fact, it should be a flag from Allegiance Flag Supply, hand-sewn in Charleston, South Carolina, by dedicated American craftsmen and women who put care into every stitch, because they believe in what that flag stands for. I fly American flags all the time, but there's nothing like my Allegiance flag. It's a real showstopper, the highest quality American flag, period. Right now, when you go to showallegiance.com, that's showallegiance.com, Allegiance Flag Supply will give you $35 off your complete flag set. Again, that's showallegiance.com for American flags, made by Americans, for Americans, in America.
Delays continue from 355 to New Hampshire Ave. You're going to be on and off the brakes. EP 295 southbound remains very slow from Eastern Ave down to East Capitol Street, and northbound from the 11th Street Bridge up to East Capitol Street. Also 395 north, that is crawling across the 14th Street Bridge as you are heading into the district. BW Parkway slow from Greenbelt Road up to Powder Mill Road northbound, and southbound from 198 down to 197. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, turning cloudy with a slight chance of showers, a low around 40. Tomorrow, sunny, a high near 52.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund, so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is Taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino brings his expert insight to today's biggest news stories.
Anywhere else.
Tackling hot button issues with unmatched energy and a passion for the truth.
If you put one of the many to the show, on your cerebral cortex, it is this one.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
Making sense of your money, the state of the economy, the ability to afford your life. That's what people want.
Vince Colonnades, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m.
The kind of thing I pay attention to. I'm looking at.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflush.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe, and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Making sense of your world. Again, News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Thanks for taking my call. Making sense of the news. WMAL, making sense of world events. Because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free. The voice of reason. Sea of lunacy. Mark Levin. Dial 877-381-3811. And the show goes someplace.
Unbelievable. History, economics, they're great works of literature. Did you study these things in school? Even if you did, maybe it's time for a refresher. Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses, including their newest course on totalitarian novels. Now, in this free 8-lecture course, you'll learn from Hillsdale College's truly brilliant president, Larry Arnn, as he reads and goes in depth in 4 novels. 1984, Brave New World. I'm sure you've heard of both of those. Darkness at Noon and That Hideous Strength. Even though these novels were written in the 30s and 40s, they're highly relevant today. They show what a tyrannical government does to human nature. And perhaps more importantly, they can show us that faith, family, and friends are worth fighting for. Maybe you read these books long ago in school. Maybe you've heard others talk about them. They seem daunting, intimidating. Well, let Hillsdale College be your guide and help you make the most of them and work through them with you. You're going to find them absolutely unbelievable. And check out the other courses they have there, too. It really is a fantastic website. Go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's LEVIN for Hillsdale.com.
Levin for Hillsdale.com, Levin for Hillsdale.com. Now, in addition to investigations by the Education Department, by the Justice Department, and Homeland Security to determine who does and doesn't have visas, they're also deporting Hitler Youth who come from foreign countries like maybe Qatar. Ooh, Qatar. They're going through tens of thousands of visa lists to see who's who and what's what. And they're using AI, Mr. Producer. Did you know that? They're using AI to try and match up the faces with the visas. In addition to that, President Trump is going to sign an order borrowing public service student loan forgiveness to workers at anti-American groups. New York Post writes, President Trump is poised to sign an executive order barring public service student debt forgiveness for people employed by certain anti-American advocacy organizations. I wonder if they're neocons. The order will direct the Education Department to revise the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program to bar employees at groups that have an allegedly illegal purpose. Now, the restriction in theory would impact employees of groups that promote illegal immigration, terrorism, child abuse, discrimination, and public disruptions. What's wrong with that? Now, you're free to do those things if it's within the law, but you shouldn't be subsidized for them. Oh, we have a right. Yes, we do. Judge Ernie Grabotsky. And Judge Ernie Grabotsky said we have a right. It's unclear what recourse debt holders would have to challenge the determination. Trump acknowledged the plan order during an Oval Office event on Friday. Thank you, honey. She's bringing me, what are these? They are halls. What do they call these things again? Are they cough drops or are they other things? My family and I are working very hard to keep me on the radio here. Trust me, all week long. I'm a beautiful wife. The program created by legislation was significantly expanded by former President Joe Biden after the Supreme Court knocked down his attempt at student loan stuff. To grant loan write-offs of between $10,000 and $20,000 for former students. The Biden administration used public service program to dispense $78.5 billion in loan forgiveness to over 1 million borrowers, up from 7,000 recipients when Biden took office in 2021. What a creep! What a sleazeball! Trump aides in turn accused Biden of stretching the definition of who qualifies as a public service worker, well beyond the authorizing legislation's intent. So the Trump people are saying what's good for the crackpot is good for us. That is, we view it a different way. So if you're fomenting violence or the overthrow of the United States or pushing racism or anti-Semitism or terrorism, we're taking the money away from you. Oh, you can't do that. You can only give money. You can't take it away. Haven't you read the Constitution? It explicitly says that. Where? Oh, it's in the penumbras, in the emanations. Of course, penumbras and emanations don't exist in the Constitution. We call that methane. Methane's not in the Constitution. Or the penumbras in the, yeah. I think that was Justice Douglas with the penumbras and the emanations. So he's doing that too. Donald Trump is a super patriot. That's what he is. That's why they hate him. That and a lot of other reasons. Tariffs. What do we make of tariffs? President Trump talked about tariffs with Maria Bartiromo. Cut 5, go.
But I think CEOs want to see predictability. They say, look, I have to speak with shareholders. I've got to make plans for CapEx spending. I can't if it's 20% one day and then it's off for a month and it's 25%. Yeah. So can you give us a sense of whether or not we are going to get clarity for the business community?
Well, I think so, but the tariffs could go up as time goes by, and they may go up. And I don't know if it's predictability. I think
So that's not clear.
no. I think that they say that. It sounds good to say, but for years, the big globalists, have been ripping off the United States. They've been taking money away from the United States, and all we're doing is getting some of it back. And we're going to treat our country fairly. This country has been ripped off from every nation in the world, every company outside in the world. We've been ripped off at levels never seen before. And all we're going to do is get it back. We're going to get a lot of it back. We're not going to let people take advantage of us anymore.
By the time the president's term is over, we'll know, as a matter of fact, whether this economic plan was successful or not, won't we? We'll know. But we know what's not successful, don't we? Allowing communist China to steal 51% of our companies that locate there, that are stupid enough to locate there, and steal all their proprietary information, and then create their own companies with the proprietary information and throw the business out. That's how stupid these companies are. Or when they build car factories right over our border in Mexico and then ship those cars into the United States. Seems a little odd, doesn't it, to you? When Japan has 100% tariff on our motorcycles, which it did during Reagan's administration, and Reagan just wouldn't put up with it. Same with computers, same with computer chips. When countries are that aggressive against us, actually no presidents actually put up with it. None. Even the most conservative free market presidents have not. I went back and I looked. Coolidge was no liberal, but he responded. Reagan was no liberal, but he responded. Trump's no liberal, but he responds. Time will tell. I've discussed this at length too. We start from the premise that we believe in free markets. But I will say this. We subsidize a number of our industries as well. Did you know that, Mr. Producer? We subsidize a number of our farmers, depending on what they grow. Yes, we do. You can go look it up right on the internet. I don't know if we still do, but we used to subsidize our mushroom growers, our sugar growers. So maybe we ought to stop that too. What do you think ethanol's all about? And don't call me about ethanol. I understand it's very important to many farmers. I got it. But what do you think ethanol is? It's not needed. In fact, for many engines, it's damaging. But it's a subsidy of sorts, isn't it? So we're not exactly the purest of the pure either, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's the issue, isn't it? Nobody is. But we do have a serious problem in this country. The industrial heartland is hurting. The manufacturing sector is hurting. It's hurting for a lot of reasons. Number one, our own environmental regulations. Number two, some of our own union rules. But number three, for sure, some of these bigger economies, particularly China, particularly in Europe. I mean, China's a communist regime with a socialist economy. Europe are semi-communist regimes with socialist economies, and socialist economies fighting a capitalist economy. They will do whatever they need to do. They don't see any huge difference between government and private corporations. It's not a big principle outside of the United States. It is here. So Trump is saying, look, in order to fight these communist regimes and these socialist regimes and their subsidies and all the rest of it, we have to be able to use tariffs. We used tariffs to fund our government before we had an income tax. So for more than the first 100 years in the United States. We used tariffs after we had an income tax. Right before, McKinley was a big believer in tariffs. I should remind people, by the way, yes, the economy exploded in growth, and then it collapsed. That's right. There was a big potential depression because the federal government ran out of money. And so McKinley called together the wealthiest men in the country, the big capitalists, Morgan, Rockefeller, Carnegie, others, to lend the United States billions of dollars so it wouldn't go under financially. Did you know that? Well, it's true. Roosevelt believed in tariffs. Coolidge believed in tariffs. Franklin Roosevelt believed in socialism. I'm not as big on tariffs as some of these folks are. I'm just not. Again, prudential. When we're dealing in foreign policy or even when we're dealing in economics, the word is prudence. You look at each circumstance and you make a decision. It's not ideological with me. You start at the basis that you believe in voluntary trade, free trade. If there's a country that's stealing your businesses and stealing your technology and stealing the proprietary information, you got to address it, unless you want to destroy yourself. If there's other countries that are trying to put your steel business out of business, and the steel industry is critical to so much of what we do, particularly when it comes to national security, you got to address it. Start from the basis of a principled free market belief, but you never abandon prudence. Scott Bessent on CNBC today on tariffs. Cut 6. Go.
I don't think it's a radical change. It's just a much needed course adjustment. And when we go back and look at what's happened, there's a new paper out called the China Shock. And it talks about what happened post 2004, that some of the communities recovered, but the workers never recovered. And that it was much more devastating on a human level. And what we are trying to do is make free trade fair trade, because the trading systems have become incredibly imbalanced. You see it with these gigantic the trade deficits that we run. You see it with the big surpluses that other countries are accumulating. So we're looking at tariff barriers, non-tariff barriers, currency manipulation, government subsidies, and in the EU, some of these gigantic fines that they're putting on our tech companies just because they see a big pool of capital.
Now, that's a very, very important point. They go after Microsoft, they go after Apple, and they put these multi-billion-dollar fines on them, draining resources from our American companies, basically stealing this money for their own governments. And so you can't ignore that either. You just can't. And so they accuse them, antitrust. Next thing you know, Apple owes, I'm just filling in a blank, $17 billion. You can't just sit back and tolerate that. I don't think so, anyway. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
We're the stronger than we look type. I've had type 1 diabetes since I was 2. The braver than you think type.
I have to take insulin shots every single day.
The type that will stop at nothing.
No more blood sugar tests.
Absolutely nothing.
No more complications.
Until type 1 becomes type none.
Support JDRF's life-changing research, and one day you'll say, I helped turn type 1 into type none. Join us now at jdrf.org. Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
Expert entrepreneur Ed Milet is on a mission to max out your life.
I exist here weekly so that you can make your dreams come true, become the man or woman you're capable of, and then pay it forward.
It's time to get laser focused on peak performance.
Clarity equals focus, and focus equals success. That's what I'm here to do every week with you. Max out.
The Ed Milet Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Making sense of your world.
This is no conspiracy theory. This is a fact. Here it is.
Mark Levin, weekdays 6 to 9 p.m.
Listen to this, would you?
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Attention all patriots, time is running out to claim your Trump knife, a limited edition masterpiece that stands as bold and strong as America itself. Order your free Trump knife today at TrumpKnife47.com. Just pay a small shipping and handling fee. Add this limited edition masterpiece to your Trump collection, etched with Trump, Make America Great Again. It's a daily reminder of your patriotic pride. Visit TrumpKnife47.com right now to claim your free Trump knife. You just pay shipping and handling. That's TrumpKnife47.com. Shipping and handling fees apply. Offer valid while supplies last. Paid for by Entramax.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for autopay and e-billing.
Making sense of your world.
There are a lot of things that really tick me off. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Making sense of the news. Washington's best way to wake up. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
Oh, it's very sad what happened to the Hackmans. But now they know, AP. Actor Gene Hackman died of heart disease a full week after his wife died from hantavirus, which is a virus of the kidneys, apparently. In their New Mexico home, likely unaware that she was dead because he was in the advanced stages of Alzheimer's disease. If he was in the advanced stages of Alzheimer's disease and it was so bad he didn't know that she had died, that means he didn't feed himself. That means he couldn't go to the restroom. That means he didn't know what was taking place in any respect. But deaths were ruled to be from natural causes. Chief Medical Examiner Dr. Heather Jarrell said alongside state fire and health officials at the news conference. Jarrell said Mr. Hackman showed evidence of advanced Alzheimer's disease. He was in a very poor state of health. It's significant heart disease, and I think ultimately that's what resulted in his death. Investigators found that the last known communication and activity was February 11th, when his wife visited a pharmacy, pet store, and grocery before returning to their gated home. Hackman's pacemaker last showed signs of activity a week later, that he had an abnormal heart rhythm the day he likely died. There's no reliable way to determine the date, time when both died. All signs point to their deaths coming a week apart, they said. It's quite possible he was not aware that she was deceased. Sad that in that way, isn't it, Mr. Producer? Dr. Biden, former New York City medical examiner, said he believes Hackman was severely impaired due to Alzheimer's disease and unable to deal with his wife's death in the last week of his life. You know, when it's the latter stages of Alzheimer's, you can't function. You're not picking up a phone. You can't talk. Their bodies were found a little over a week later. Hackman was found in the home's entryway. His death was tied to heart disease, with Alzheimer's disease contributing. His wife was found in the bathroom. Authorities linked her death to this hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, a rare but potentially fatal disease
spread by infected rodent droppings. Thyroid medication pills prescribed to her were found nearby and weren't listed as a contributing factor. Hantavirus typically is reported in spring and summer, often due to exposures that occur when people are near mouse droppings in homes. Sheds or poorly ventilated areas. It's the first confirmed case of hantavirus in New Mexico this year. It's found throughout the world. Most cases in the U.S. have been found in western states. And it can cause severe and sometimes deadly lung infections. So this came on rather quickly for her. Dogs do not get sick from the virus. Sheriff considers this an open investigation until they receive results of the dog's necropsy, finish checking into data from personal cell phones and so forth. Very sad. That's the update. I'll be right back.
Making sense of your world. Greatly appreciate it. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. I love listening to you. Making sense of the news.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guaranteed. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Making sense of your morning.
Lots of coverage here on that developing story.
O'Connor and Company. Mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Jim Rome takes on sports.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debates.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said, because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
A Better Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
Over the past few years, some public health experts have proliferated the phrase, sitting is the new smoking. That's a bit hyperbolic, but the gist is that we as a society have become too sedentary. Standing desks have become ubiquitous in workplaces across the country, but are they really the quick fix they're cracked up to be? Probably not, according to a new study out of Australia, which found standing for prolonged periods isn't any better for your health than prolonged sitting. It can even raise the risk of circulatory problems. So what's missing in all this? Movement. At a bare minimum, you do want to make sure you are standing up for periods of time over the course of the day. Even better though, get up and walk around every so often. Skip the email and swing by a colleague's desk instead. Take the stairs. You get the idea. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news. Stock 105.9. News now.
A threat against a former presidential candidate. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A man from Florida accused of making a death threat against Kamala Harris months after the election was over.
Franklin Jarrell of Jacksonville is facing federal charges after a U.S. Secret Service agent said he made an online threat to kill former Vice President Kamala Harris. A criminal complaint says in February, a TikTok account belonging to Jarrell posted about the former VP saying, "I will take a sniper rifle and blow her head off like they're trying to do with Trump." The complaint says Gerald told an agent he could say whatever he wanted because of his First Amendment right. The agent explained to him free speech does not include terroristic threats. Gerald's being held without bond and heads to court next week.
Fox's Jill Nato. Meanwhile, the man accused of shooting at now President Trump in Florida was in court.
59-year-old Ryan Ruth sat handcuffed as he listened to government attorneys and his public defender fight over access to evidence. His team wants more, but the DOJ claims they already have it. His attorneys will not mount an insanity defense, and the trial is set to begin in September. Authorities say Ruth was in the bushes of Trump's West Palm Beach golf club for almost 12 hours last September. A Secret Service agent spotted the barrel of a gun, and Ruth was later arrested on the side of the road.
This is David Spahn. A South Carolina man convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat was executed by a firing squad. The first U.S. prisoner in 15 years to die by that method. 67-year-old Brad Sigmund chose to die by firing squad, which he saw as preferable to the electric chair or lethal injection. The Labor Department has reinstated about 120 employees who were facing termination as part of the Trump administration's mass firing. America's listening to Fox News.
Doing Doge over firings, I'm Sharon Reardon from the Novak Motors News Desk. Good evening. Maryland Attorney General Anthony Brown's leading a multi-state lawsuit claiming Doge's firing of probationary employees.
This is a coordinated effort to eliminate the federal workforce by any means necessary.
Even if those means are illegal, that's what Brown is claiming in his suit.
Federal law requires agencies to give states 60 days notice so we can take steps to mitigate the harm caused by the layoffs. That is not what President Trump did.
A special counsel who did find the firings to be illegal ended up being fired by President Trump himself. John Matthews on WMAL and WMAL.com.
After decades on the run, 53-year-old Stephen Smirk was arrested in 2023 after detectives found a possible DNA link to him using forensic genealogy. Last year, he pleaded guilty to breaking into Robin Lawrence's home and stabbing her 49 times while her 2-year-old daughter was in the next room. Commonwealth's attorney Steve Descano says while the pain left by her murderer can never really heal, he hopes the sentence will help her loved ones finally close this difficult chapter. And support in opposition during a hearing on a Maryland House bill that tax sugary drink.
It takes apple juice, which is $1.99, and makes it $3.27. It takes iced tea that we sell for $2.99 and makes it $5.50 a gallon. That's what the real effect is.
Marcia Klein oversees 9 grocery stores in the state and is worried about costs being passed along to consumers. The Maryland proposal is 2 cents to be taxed per ounce on drinks. Marissa Waxman oversaw the tax in Philadelphia, where it's raised tens of millions of dollars for schools and no worries about any difficulties.
I want to be clear, those concerns did not materialize.
The Maryland version could bring in $500 million for school lunches, child care scholarships, and contribute to the general fund. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
Time is 8:04. I'm Sharon Reardon, and now here's your WMAL traffic and weather from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Inner loop of the Beltway, looking at a crash before Kenilworth Ave. That's got things jammed up back to 95. Outer loop, though, wide open, not seeing anything. That's going to slow you down. BW Parkway northbound, that is slow from the Beltway up past Powder Mill Road. Southbound DC 295, still seeing those delays between Benning Road and East Capitol Street, as well as northbound from the 11th Street Bridge up to East Capitol Street. You're going to be tapping the brakes. And 395 north, still crawling across the 14th Street Bridge. Now, from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Tonight, turning cloudy with a slight chance of showers, a low around 40. Tomorrow, sunny, a high near 52.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflush.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflush.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflush.com.
Now, 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Parts Levin. Levin.
Welcome to the Power Hour, the final hour of the week. Reports. Numbers 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Former Speaker Kevin McCarthy will be on in a few minutes.
You know, the April 15th tax deadline's coming fast. Do you have unfiled tax returns? Can't pay the IRS? Have other IRS issues? The IRS is more aggressive than ever before. The longer you wait, the worse it's going to get. That's just a fact. They will garnish wages. They will levy against your bank accounts. They'll even seize your property, and you won't find out until it's already done. You need to get ahead of this. Going up against the IRS alone is a disaster. Folks, take my advice. Call the experts at Tax Network USA. You've heard of these other companies. This is the best company. I've dealt with many of the others. Why? Because Tax Network USA, they know the system. The preferred direct line to the IRS. They know which agents to deal with and which to avoid. Now, whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, their genius strategies are designed to quickly settle your tax problems in your favor. You know what I'm doing this weekend, Mr. Producer? I'm resting my voice. Now, Tax Network USA's attorneys and negotiators have already resolved over $1 billion in tax debt. Over $1 billion. Tax Network USA can help you too. But you need to move fast. You have to call them. They don't have your number. April 5th is almost here. April 15th is almost here. Talk on one of their strategists today. No obligation. This way you can stop looking over your shoulder. You can stop stressing. You can put this behind you. Call Tax Network USA right now. They're there. They can help you. They can help you. 1-800-958-1000. 1-800-958-1000. 1-800-958-1000. That's the number. TNUSA.com/LEVIN. Let's see. Debbie Wasserman Schultz. I didn't even know she was still with us. Did you, Mr. Producer? But she is. And contributing mightily to the benefit of the country as always. She was on MSNBC today. Can anybody tell me why there's an MSNBC? Seriously. Why is there an MSNBC? Why is there a CNN? What is the purpose of these networks? They don't even have viewers anymore. They don't even have an audience. They survive because these massive corporations, these conglomerates, keep putting money into them. But if they were on their own, if they were standalone, they couldn't survive. So here she is, and what pearls of wisdom does Wasserman Schultz have for us today? Cut 11, go.
Well, we're obviously in the middle of a Trump-inflicted recession.
All right, there we go, a Trump-inflicted recession. Now, to tell you what kind of economic illiteracy we're dealing with here, no president can create a recession in 6 weeks. None. Even if they wanted to. Even if they wanted to create a depression, they couldn't do it. The economy's too big. It's too unwieldy for any president to have that kind of power over an economy. So it's not a Trump-created recession, you moron. That's number one. Number two, it's not even close to a recession. There was actual job growth
And the interesting thing is, as President Trump pointed out, not job growth with migrants and illegal immigrants, job growth with American citizens. That's good. But it takes time to pull out of stagflation, which is what Joe Biden gave us. What's stagflation? We've discussed that before. You have inflation and high prices, but stagnant or low wages. So it's incredibly problematic for most families. And that's not fixed overnight. It took Reagan 2 years to deal with it, when he had inherited the same thing, stagflation, from Carter. This is why the tax cuts are so critical. Trump knows this. His advisors know this. Guys like Kudlow know this. Reagan went in and he slashed taxes. That created massive economic growth, economic opportunity, prosperity. That's what he did. That's what you have to do when you have stagflation. At the same time, keep control over the monetary system. Don't go crazy with it like the Fed did under Obama, and then later under Biden. If you slash taxes, you can create economic growth. You don't have to print as much money for the purpose of creating a fiction of economic growth, if you understand what I'm saying. So no, he's not created recession. But the Democrats, they want you to believe that the Republicans are going to destroy Medicaid, Social Security, Medicare, a lie. They want you to believe that veterans won't be able to get any benefits, any service, because they're streamlining the VA. That's a lie. They want you to believe they're firing all these important, FAA guys and gals in our towers. That's a lie. Sean Duffy's already explained that. So they want you to believe that when they're finding trillions of dollars in fraud and waste and abuse, that are actually destroying the very programs the Democrats claim to support, then what the Republicans are actually doing is slashing services you want. May I ask most people a question who don't work necessarily for the federal government? Has some of your services been slashed? You're still getting your Social Security checks? You're still getting Medicare? Still getting Medicaid? Of course you are. That's why the media can't go around and find tens of thousands of people who are being thrown off of their services and benefits, because they're liars. Now, I want to say something to ABC News. You have an obligation. You're a major network. You're owned by a major corporation. You have an obligation. It is one thing to have people with strong opinions, even crackpot opinions, like the people on The View. These are sick people. These are radical people. But you have hosts on The View who cross the line, and they cross the line a lot. And the one who crosses the line the most is this Sunny Hostin, whose husband has been indicted for fraud, by the way. She's not ashamed of it. She doesn't say, you know what, I'm getting off this program and I'm going to support my husband and stay by my husband and work. But no, she doesn't care. She says people need to fight and die for their rights, like previous generations. People need to fight and die for their rights. And ABC News is fine with this. You have a president who was almost assassinated twice. They talk about, January 6th. And yet, on The View, on ABC News, and they're not the only ones, they stoke violence, if not directly, indirectly. That's what they do. That's right, I said it. Cut 15, go.
But it didn't unite them all because 10 Democrats voted to censure Green.
Wow. Do you want a list of the 10?
Do you want to hear their names?
Yes, I do.
Yes, let's hear it.
Go after them, too. Go after the
Because
Republicans.
they don't know how to fight and be part of an opposition party. The Democrats are not meeting the moment. It is very clear that Medicaid is on the table. It is very clear that Social Security is on the table. It's very clear
You're
that people
such a friggin' liar. You're such a puke. You really are, Sonny Houston. You are a nasty, stupid liar. You can quote me. The way you treat your audience, the way you treat people, the way you fearmonger and scaremonger, the way you're trying to get people so upset that they'll take to the streets, they may even take the violence. Go ahead.
The baby boomers, the civil rights generation, they knew what they had to do. They were willing to fight and die for their rights.
See that? Fight and die. Fight and die. You okay with that? ABC News? If you're a shareholder in ABC News, you ought to be jumping up and down right about now. Sonny Houston should be yanked. She should get the hook. She should be fired for trying to instigate. That's right, for trying to instigate violence. That's what that's all about. And scaring people and lying to people and pushing them over the edge. She's a fraud and a phony. I'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
Every time I feel my baby kick, I sing. You don't understand. I never sing. I'm not good at singing. I'm the only person I know who's been booed off a karaoke stage. But that was before I was pregnant. Today, I'm a singer with a captive audience of one. She doesn't boo me. She never will. We know how it feels. We're the March of Dimes. Find out how we can help you have a healthier baby at marchofdimesbaby.org.
Hey, it's big. Rob Schmidt recently beat CNN in key ratings as millions are tuning into Newsmax. Every night, Rob Schmidt is on Newsmax revealing the truth about Elon Musk's Doge. Tune in tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern and find out why Rob is the hottest person in cable news. Even President Trump is watching, and he says Newsmax is terrific. Reuters Institute reports that Newsmax is now one of the top news brands in America. Find out why. Just check out Newsmax on your cable system. Get Rob Schmidt with Greta Van Susteren, Rob Finnerty, and much more. Download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone or home TV to start watching. It takes just seconds. With Newsmax Plus, you can watch our great shows anytime. Go to newsmaxplus.com and start your free trial. That's newsmaxplus.com. Make the switch to Newsmax today.
Making sense of your world.
I agree with everything you're saying.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Break for what's going on.
Making sense of the news. WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
It's always a pleasure to have our friend Kevin McCarthy on the program. Kevin, I have a simple question for you, my friend. What does the modern Democrat Party stand for? Seriously, what does it stand for?
I'm telling you what, they are in the middle of a civil war. They're leaderless in the House. Right, that I don't think was brought up the other night. At the State of the Union, and I've been in this position before, where there is a president of another party. And what happens to the State of the Union, you have an escort committee of Republicans and Democrats in leadership, and they escort the President of the United States down. For the first time in history that I know of, the Democrats rejected walking and escorting the President of the United States down. And there's times where I was sitting as the majority leader, where I have to be the first person, and I escorted Barack Obama or others. You know, that's a sign for the rest of the world to see. Okay, we could have differences in principles or philosophical points, but the election's over and you have to govern, right? I mean, it was the pettiest thing I've ever seen from a Schumer or Hakeem, and it showed the leaderlessness of these Democrats. And you watch the Civil War in California, where finally Gavin Newsom, because he'll swing with the wind, whatever, he woke up because he wants to now run for president, right? That men should not compete in women's sports. That's a no-brainer. We've been fighting them for how long on that? And now his own legislature is having a civil war over it.
Well, let me ask you this. Is this a battle between the hard left and the left? Is that what it is?
I think it is. It is further than that. You just can't call them the left. They are the socialists. And I'll tell you, Mark, they are. And they say they are. And it's just, they disagree with the foundation of our nation. And it's a fight internally. But I've watched Democrats. There are no moderate Democrats anymore. There are no blue dog Democrats. And they bully into the position. They can't have a different position when it comes to life. And it has come, you're either a Marxist or you're a socialist in their party.
So where do they go from here? Do they think they're going to get elected, and maybe they will, just by lying about Medicaid and Medicare and Social Security and veterans benefits and all the rest? You think that's going to work?
I don't know, because interesting statistic in the last poll on the approval of the president. His numbers were very strong, but you know where they were the strongest? With the young America. I think these young people have watched people just try to sell them stuff, right? Ads and others. And then they have now read through the BS, right? We don't still take TV to tell them what they should or should not think. It's a longer format, like a radio show like yours or a podcast. And they're almost not picking up parties. They're looking for leadership. That's the difference, I think.
And the media and the Democrats are really affected by the hip. Do you see any real change in corporate media? I really don't. I mean, I see people abandoning them, but I don't see a change.
I see no change. You watch what they have said. Listen, the Democrats wouldn't stand up for a young boy fighting cancer for 6 years. And then you watch what the media said on MSNBC about it. They are no different whatsoever. That's disrespectful. That's not an American position. And it was embarrassing. I mean, seriously, can't you differentiate between a young kid fighting for his life and someone doing something nice for them? You can't accept that because the person who did something nice for them, you just don't want to like.
Unbelievable.
No parent would train or work on their child to teach them that. You're not born that way. I mean, and I think that's corporate media teaching people to be that way. That somehow that's okay, and it's not.
Mr. Speaker.
I mean, there were 10 Democrats who voted for the censure of Al Green. And I will tell you, Al Green isn't really the one that should have been censured. It's the Democrat leadership that escort the president down that told Al Green he could act that way.
Hakeem Jeffries, he really is weak, isn't he? He really is weak.
Oh, he can't make a decision. He's scared to death to make a decision. Look, there's two types of leadership. You're either a thermometer or a thermostat. He's a thermometer. It only does one thing. It tells you the temperature, right? So they go up on stage. A thermostat is a Winston Churchill, a Ronald Reagan. They can tell you the temperature, but they can change it. And they're not afraid to change it, right? It's 100 degrees. We're going to make it 75. We're all going to do this. And after we do this, it's still 95 and you're sweating and you're not afraid because we're going to take you to the right place. We know our principles. We know it brings you more freedom. So we don't have to be angry. We know our compass. We know our why. Our team flips back and forth. Did you watch that video the Democrats put out, like, pick your fighter, and they had these Democrat women? I mean,
you know what it looked like to me? No offense. No offense. It looked like to me that they were constipated. I'm serious. It looked like to me.
Yeah. Pick your fighter. It made me say, I wouldn't want to be on that team.
No. Let me ask you something prospectively here. I think this budget deadline comes up on Friday. The Democrats have shown a lot of ankle, talking about closing the government.
Closing the government to save the government. Do you think they're going to succeed?
No. You know, and but you know what? They don't have a purpose.
Well, they'll say they're saving Medicaid and Medicare, and they want to put their foot down. You think the Republicans are ready to fight this?
You know what? They have a leader, though, so they will be ready to fight it. President Trump has been through so much, he can fight. And this is the difference. You shut the government down, you know what doesn't shut down? Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security.
I know, it's hilarious.
That just keeps on going. And all it does is hurt our men and women that are protectors around the world.
Kevin McCarthy, you're a good man, and we really appreciate you on this program, brother. You're a good friend, and God bless you. Have a great weekend, Kevin.
All right, my friend. Take care.
We appreciate him very much. He's a good man. We'll be right back.
History, economics, they're great works of literature. Did you study these things in school? Even if you did, maybe it's time for a refresher. Hillsdale College is offering more than 40 free online courses, including their newest course on totalitarian novels. In this free 8-lecture course, you learn from Hillsdale College President Larry Arnn as he reads and goes in depth on 4 novels. 1984, Brave New World, Darkness at Noon, and That Hideous Strength. Even though these novels were written in the 1930s and 40s, they're highly relevant today, as they show what a tyrannical government does to human nature. And perhaps more importantly, they can show us that faith, family, and friends are worth fighting for. Maybe you read these books long ago in school. Maybe you heard others talk about them. They seem a little bit intimidating. Let Hillsdale College be your guide and help you make the most of them. Go right now to levinforhillsdale.com to enroll. There's no cost. It's easy to get started. That's Levin, Levin, for Hillsdale.com to register. Levinforhillsdale.com.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at nissanusa.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Want to get some good discounted food and dining options, reliable roadside assistance, preferred credit card offers, or fraud protection? You need to check out AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens. No matter what your age is, you can take advantage of the services they provide for either yourself or your family, and have confidence that their partners stand behind the vision our nation's founders had to enrich the lives of all Americans through goods and services offered by like-minded companies. But joining AMAC isn't just about the benefits. It's about belonging to a community that stands for timeless American values. Regardless of your age, you can enroll in a 5-year AMAC membership for 47% off. Visit amac.us/SRS today to take advantage of this special offer. AMAC's membership is made up of Americans who believe in faith, family, and freedom. We're over 2 million members strong and growing. Their mission is simple: protect the interests of all freedom-loving Americans and offer incredible member benefits. From exclusive discounts on travel insurance and everyday services to supporting strong representation in Washington, D.C., AMAC's here to make a difference in your life and our nation. Visit amac.us/SRS today to join millions of Americans who believe in backing their mission. That's amac.us/SRS. Join AMAC and become a part of a movement that stands for you, your family, and your future.
The second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs continues on PrizePicks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. The app is so simple. Just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the PrizePicks app today, use the code ROAM, and get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. That's code ROAM on PrizePicks to get $50 in bonus promo funds instantly when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 in bonus credit just for playing, and it's guaranteed. PrizePicks, run your game. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Hey, I'm Reba McIntyre. In life, you'll hear a lot of people tell you that you can do anything you want. I'm here to tell you that's true. Since I was a little girl, I dreamed of becoming a successful singer and entertainer. It took a lot of hard work, dedication, and perseverance to find my success, but it was worth it. I never gave up on my dreams. Remember, you can never have a dream come true until you've had a dream. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
Bright Focus Foundation's Alzheimer's Disease Research Program is paving the way for a cure. Learn about symptoms, diagnosis, and breakthrough research at brightfocus.org or call us at 1-855-345-6237 for free resources.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Every 15 seconds, someone is diagnosed with cancer. If it's happened to you or someone you love, the American Cancer Society can help at every step of the journey. Visit cancer.org today.
My baby brother, a father. Come on, it's time for his nap. Whoa, he can't sleep on his stomach. Babies should always sleep on their backs in a safety-approved crib, and the sleep area should be clear of blankets, toys, and other loose or soft items. It reduces the risk of SIDS.
SIDS?
You know, sudden infant death syndrome.
Guess I need to start studying up on safe sleep for little man here. Being his favorite uncle comes with big responsibilities.
For more information, visit safetosleep.nichd.nih.gov. Sponsored by the Eunice Kennedy Shriver National Institute of Child Health and Human Development.
Making sense of your world. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. There, making sense of the news. The Vince Colonnade Show, weekdays 3 to 6 p.m. on 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
You're listening to Denali, the great one. And you can call in now, 877-381-3811.
During periods of economic uncertainty, I believe strongly in diversification. I always diversify, economic uncertainty or not. But I believe gold should be part of your safe haven that you're looking for. And unlike stocks or bonds, it's a physical asset that gives many investors peace of mind. Gold has been a valued investment for thousands of years. It's why I put my own money into things like gold. And that's why I use Advantage Gold. They're the best of the best. They're the best of the gold companies. Call 800-900-8000. Join me in diversifying your funds. The stock market has its ups and downs. Gold remains a rock-solid asset. It's not just a hedge. It can be a proof. So if you're looking to help secure your financial future, now's the time to add gold to your portfolio. Don't wait until it's too late, folks. You know what happens if you wait, it's too late? It's too late. Call my friends at Advantage Gold today. They're the experts. They're there. They'll walk you through it every step of the way. No pressure. Ask them any questions you have. They're very, very helpful. Call 800-900-8000 now. 800-900-8000. It's Friday evening, but they're there. You get help taking steps and help control your future. 800-900-8000. Tell them Mark Levin sent you. 800-900-8000. That's the secret number. Go for it, baby. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional. Let's go to Jim, Santa Rosa, California, the great KSFO. Jim, how are you?
I'm good, Mr. Hyper-Intelligent, my hero. This is
Well,
an honor.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. I don't know if you saw that purple troll the other night. Speech. That was
Oh, I
wild.
did? What happened to her? Stuck a finger in an
No,
electrical
man.
socket, I
Like a
think.
troll. My question is about the new Green Steel deal, or whatever you want to call it. These people, I heard Lee Zeldin kind of out some of them last night on one of the programs, and I'm wondering if Cash and Mrs. Bondi could do like a flow chart and just show how they laundered all that money and who was getting it. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I don't see why the EPA can't do that, number one. And number two,
There ought to be a criminal investigation open to look into this. I mean, you're taking public funds, you're shoving it out the door as fast as you can. $20 billion to 8 groups, one of which has only raised $100 before and is associated with a radical Democrat hack from Georgia. I mean, come on. Is there any bigger graft than that? They're stealing right in front of our eyes. I don't care what they call it. I don't care what they call themselves. I don't care what they pretend to be doing. I'm with you, 100%.
Flow chart, flow chart and how they laundered it all. And the second thing was, John Henry really needs to change his hairstyle. I mean, you could talk him into what his friend is got Marine for, high and tight, and maybe raise some money for the to get into that.
well, I'm the last one to tell people what to do with their hair since I don't have any.
I do have a beard. I do have hair on the sides, but not on the top. So Sean's got a thick head of hair. Far be it from me to tell him what to do with it. All right, Jim, thank you for your call. Good suggestion, maybe. Let's go to Jim. We'll stay in California. Livermore, I know exactly where these towns are. Again, the great KSFO. Go ahead,
I
Jim.
want to thank you for everything. Thank you for everything you're doing. Bless you. Bless your wife and bless your family.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
You know what the
Well, let me address it. There's this fiction because prior Congresses have destroyed these trust funds. So there's this fiction they get a pension trust fund with Social Security. They stole all the money out, and it's filled with IOUs. And this is what Elon Musk is talking about. Then you take Medicare. There's this fiction that it's insurance, but really most of the money now comes out of general operating money. But regardless, these fictions exist and they're there. And Congress can't cut Medicare unless Congress actually cuts Medicare, because it has its own budget effectively, and it has its own quote unquote insurance plan. Now they can cut it if they want, but they're not going to. Social Security. They're not going to. So I would bet everything right now, everything, that Social Security and Medicare are not going to be cut. They call them entitlement programs because you've paid into them for your entire working career. You've paid into them. You have a stake in them. You have an investment in them. Medicaid's totally different. We pay Medicaid. We, the taxpayers, pay Medicaid. The state taxpayer pays for it, and the federal taxpayer pays for it. It's a combination of taxes that pay for it at the federal and state level. Medicaid is intended for poor people. Medicaid was intended for single women, as an example, who can't work and they have kids, to make sure the kids and the woman and the others are taken care of. It was massively expanded under Obamacare, of course. And it's been expanded so much since the pandemic that you literally have physically and mentally capable young men, 25, 30 years old, as an example, with no children, who can work, who won't work. They can sit on the sofa, watch TV, eat Cheetos all day, and they get Medicaid. And what the Republicans are saying, no, the original purpose of Medicaid should be supported, but these changes to Medicaid that have allowed people to abuse it, including illegal aliens to get access to it, needs to stop, or they're going to destroy that program. And so they want a work requirement for people who are mentally and physically able to do it, who don't have kids, who are not caring for an elderly parent, who are not necessarily handicapped, and so forth and so on. And they listen to the work requirement, 80 hours a week. That's 80 hours a month. That's 20 hours a week. It's barely a work requirement. So the Democrats are running around, oh, they want to slash Medicaid and kick little kids off of it because they can't help but lie. What's your next question?
I wanted to talk to you. I know somebody in the VA talking to me.
What happens is, in all these bureaucracies, they can call it the VA, they can call it the Agriculture Department, they call it a kumquat, it doesn't matter. Over time, they get fat. You know, it's like a human being. You know, you're a teenager, you're pretty fit. You're a young person, you're pretty fit. Then you get a little older, middle age, start to get a stomach, so forth and so on. These programs atrophy. It's not that the checks won't go out. It's not that the services won't be available. It's not that the VA hospitals are closing. There are layers and tiers of bureaucracy and people that need to be addressed. Any organization, every organization has to address this at some point. And so that's what they're doing. It has absolutely nothing to do with benefits and services to veterans. As if the Democrats give a crap about that. They give a damn about veterans or the military. But they'll use, as they say, any port in the storm. And so now they're trying to scare veterans. Veterans have nothing to be afraid about. Next one.
Mark, you know what to do. One word.
Mm-hmm. Chaos. I have a word that they stand for too. Tyranny. Tyranny.
God bless you, Mark.
You too, brother. Thank you. Let's go to Bardia, Dallas, Texas. On the Mark Levin app. How are you?
I'm okay. How about you?
I'm doing okay.
I hope you're feeling better soon. I love your show. Been listening to you for a long time. Actually, I talked to you a few weeks ago about that uranium process, if I can remember.
I do.
You were talking about today about Trump deal with uranium. It's an easier way. All he needs to do back the people up, back our with this opposition that we have, and just like Venezuela, when he backed up the opposition to the government there, if you do that, the people are going to get out there. If they know Trump got their back, They're going to take care of this regime. They don't need any military. They don't need nothing.
This is a very, very important point because the public in America needs to understand. The vast majority of the Iranian people want nothing to do with this regime. This regime is an iron-fisted theocracy. The Iranian people are a sophisticated people. They're an educated people. Iranians are not like third world people. They're just not. And they are basically living in a prison state right now. And they use their military to abuse the people, abuse the women, to force them to dress a certain way, to force them to pray a certain way. The people, in fact, in Iran, in recent years, they've risen up twice. They didn't get the backing of Obama or Biden. They didn't get the backing. For 10 days, the Iranian people rose up. For days, the women in Iran rose up because of the abuse and murder of one of their daughters, their teenagers. So I agree with you 100%. We'll be right back.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Now Taxes is using Credit Karma, where a TurboTax expert can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. See guarantee details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
What would you give for a child you loved? To make their wish come true? To help them fight a critical illness? Just imagine what you'd do. You see, wishes are so powerful, and you can make them real. You can give a child back their childhood, even change the way they feel. Every single one of us can make the stars align. Because when we come together, hope and joy will shine. Wishes need stars like you. Visit Make-A-Wish at wish.org.
Making sense of your morning. Lots of coverage here on that developing story. O'Connor and Company, weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Larry O'Connor here, getting you through your morning.
Making sense of Washington.
Asking some very specific questions, some legitimate questions.
Making sense of the double standard.
Then here's the latest example.
Making sense of the headlines.
Let me break it down for you, because there's plenty to break down here.
O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Mornings from 5 to 9. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Inside the biggest stories in music, it's Rolling Stone Music Now.
Stone recently ran a great cover story on Chapel Roan.
And of course, when she did eventually find her voice, it was just a little too late.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Today's students are tomorrow's great thinkers and innovators. But right now, millions of kids don't have the supplies they need. Donor Shoes is a nonprofit that lets you support students and teachers in your community and beyond. Learn more at donorshoes.org.
75 years of research, 75 years of policy,
75 years of opportunity.
75 years of freedom.
This is 75 years of the Muscular Dystrophy Association.
Join us at nda75.org. Michael Rosenbaum and his Smallville co-stars take you behind the scenes of one of the greatest shows of all time.
We're going to watch every episode.
Join us. It's big talk.
You remember when I saved
Oh, I think I was angry with this one.
On Smallville.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. The scene you did, and this is the one that got me fired. Okay. What? Here we go. I love the excursion. It's everything that Superman stands for.
It's Talkville.
Talkville. We always talk about it. It's a great thing.
The Smallville Rewatch Podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
You know, Americans love using their credit cards, one of the most secure and hassle-free ways to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com, guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, huh?
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com. Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Making sense of your world. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
You know.
Making sense of the news. WMAL. Making sense of education. Because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
You know, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is a fantastic organization. It's an organization that believes in faith. It's an organization that believes in God. It unites the Christian community and the Jewish community to help defend and protect the Holy Land. That's right. After more than a year of war, terror, economic hardship, pain in the Holy Land, the tragic deaths of the children and their mother, they were brutalized. The other hostages. So many are still hurting throughout the Holy Land where the needs for aid continue to grow. The economy is weak. Many of their families, the breadwinner is not around. Either been killed, maimed, or they're off to war. The International Fellowship of Christians and Jews has supported and will continue to support the families of hostages and other victims. With your help, the IFCJ has provided financial and emotional help to hostages and their families, and to those healing and rebuilding their broken homes and broken bodies. But the real work is just beginning. Your tax-deductible gift means so much. It is a blessing. Help provide critically needed support families in Israel whose lives continue to be destroyed by terror and uncertainty. Israel will remain surrounded by enemies. Please dig deep as you can, and bless Israel and her people. We Christians and Jews, call 844-866-IFCJ. That's 844-866-IFCJ. 844-866-IFCJ. Your mission is so important. And they get there and they get on the ground and they get right in the middle of it as fast as they can. They have so many wonderful volunteers, and you can help. And I'm going to tell you something. You're going to feel really good about what you're doing. You really are. A direct impact on the ancient home of Christians and Jews. Every Friday, in your honor, Ray Charles in America. Here we go.
Spacious skies, far out of waves and gray. Our purple light, I just feel this.
Not that I want to miss it. I like living in Levin. It's a killer show. And Sunday, same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern Sunday. Please set your DVR, your TiVo. Set them anyway, but you can always watch them live. We look forward to having you there. We very much do. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighter, emergency personnel, our truckers, our brothers and sisters in Ukraine, our brothers and sisters in Israel. We have your back. And most of all, you, the American people. You, the American people. Good night, Spritey and Griffey and Pepsi. Good night, Smokey and Zelda, Indy and Pat and Rory. Good night, Gigi. Good night, little Barney and Marty. Good night, Dad. Good night, Mom. Good night, Leo. Good night, Joe. Good night, Bernard. Good night, Lou. Good night, Teddy. And good night, all of the great patriots who have passed. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. A wonderful weekend. And I'll see you tomorrow on Life, Liberty, and Living on Fox, 8 p.m. Eastern. Be there. See you tomorrow.
Making sense of your world. I can't believe this. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
So with you.
Making sense of the news.
Now taxes is using Credit Karma, where TurboTax experts can do your taxes for you. They'll get your refund, so you can do more with it right in Credit Karma. Now this is taxes. Intuit Credit Karma with TurboTax. You guarantee details at TurboTax.com/guarantee. Experts only available with TurboTax Live.
Jim Rome takes on sport.
Why? Because you're not playing me.
With rapid fire takes.
Y'all went from the Super Bowl straight to the toilet bowl. He's not over the NFL. The NFL is over him.
Scorching debate.
All the good, all the bad, all the ups, all the downs.
He's the spitfire of sports smack.
Sorry for what I said because it was appropriate when I said it, but I can't say it anymore, dude. You are killing the game.
The Jim Rome Show podcast. Follow and listen on your favorite platform. Making sense of Washington.
So it happened again? Is that what you're telling me? Yet another guest of this program now has a job in the Trump administration.
Vince Colonnade, days 3 to 6 p.m.
The Trump transition team spending a lot of time on WMAL.com looking at all of the guests who have appeared on this program, which does bring a smile to my face. I do like that good people are getting good jobs.
Vince Colonnade, 6 p.m. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news. Issues.
There's a whole lot missing here in this story, isn't there?
News Talk 105.9. Making sense of the news.
Former Secret Service agent Dan Bongino brings his expert insight to today's biggest news stories.
Anywhere else.
Tackling hot button issues with unmatched energy and a passion for the truth.
To put one of the many buttons to the show. On your cerebral cortex, it is this one.
The Dan Bongino Show. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
Media station. Making sense of the news. News now.
Hoping to restart talk.
I'm Lisa Lucera, Fox News. A U.S. delegation returns to Saudi Arabia as they hope to work toward an end to the Russia-Ukraine war.
U.S. officials will meet with Ukrainian counterparts next week in Saudi Arabia, weeks after an Oval Office blow-up between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and President Trump.
I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards.
The president says it may be easier to get Russia to agree on a final settlement.
And Ukraine has to get on the ball and get a job done.
Still, President Trump warned on social media repeated bombings of Ukraine by Russia could lead to more sanctions and tariffs on Moscow.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The State Department says Secretary of State Marco Rubio held a call with Ukraine's foreign minister, telling him President Trump was determined to end the Russia-Ukraine war as soon as possible. The Labor Department has reinstated about 120 employees who were to be terminated as part of the mass firings of federal employees by the Trump administration. A South Carolina prisoner convicted of murder is the first to be executed by firing squad in the U.S. in 15 years.
3 volunteer prison employees with rifles fatally shooting Brad Sigmund while he wore a hood over his head and a target over his heart. The 67-year-old, the 4th prisoner in the U.S. to be executed by firing squad since 1977. The last was in Utah in 2010. Sigmund, who was convicted of killing his ex-girlfriend's parents with a baseball bat in 2001, had asked South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster to commute his sentence to life in prison. His lawyers noting he battled severe mental illness, with the Republican governor rejecting the plea.
Fox's Kristen Goodwin, a man from Jacksonville, Florida, facing federal charges after the Secret Service says he made a death threat against former Vice President Kamala Harris. America is listening to Fox News.
Jobs Explained. I'm Sharon Reardon from the Novak Motors News Desk. Good evening. Employers added 151,000 jobs in February. Solid, but less than the 160,000 predicted by economists. And 10,000 federal jobs were cut. Economists say the bulk of the mass firings of federal workers happened too late to be fully captured in the February numbers. National Economic Council Director Kevin Hassett says 25% of the Biden administration's job creation, or 1 out of every 4 jobs, was a federal worker. The White House's desire for a better D.C. has led to a series of letters from Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy to several district leaders.
Among the recipients, WMATA CEO Randy Clark, who was asked to focus on safety and security for commuters in D.C. On the topic of Metro and Metrobus, Duffy highlighted fare evasion and crime. WMATA tells WMAL they offered thanks to the secretary for his interest, adding, "While we've made incredible progress, there is still more work to do. We are committed to continuous improvements and look forward to working with our federal partners, including the D.C. Attorney General, to enhance America's metro system." In 2024, WMATA's crime numbers dropped 40%. Scotland on WMAL and WMAL.com.
And a former soldier stationed in Arlington sentenced to 70 years in prison today for the 1994 cold case murder of a stranger inside her West Springfield home.
After decades on the run, 53-year-old Stefan Smirk was arrested in 2023 after detectives found a possible DNA link to him using forensic genealogy. Last year, he pleaded guilty to breaking into Robin Lawrence's home and stabbing her 49 times while her 2-year-old daughter was in the next room. Commonwealth's attorney Steve Toscano saying in October,
"In many ways, this is a lot of parents' worst nightmares, the fact that Miss Lawrence was home alone with her, at the time, 2-year-old daughter, to be attacked by an unknown intruder."
Heather Curtis on WMAL and WMAL.com.
WMAL News Time is 9:04. I'm Sharon Reardon.
Sometimes it feels like the world is moving at hyperspeed and you can't keep up because it's one thing then another. And don't forget the meeting and the yoga class and the dinner reservation. But then you get into the all-new Nissan Murano and you feel the breeze from the panoramic moonroof while the massaging seats melt away the tension of the day. And you realize that sometimes the greatest rush is not rushing at all. Shop the all-new Murano at NissanUSA.com. Panoramic moonroof massaging leather appointed seats are available features.
Hey, if you have ugly yellow toe fungus, you got to hear about the secret 2-minute trick that I found for my husband. It works from both the inside and the outside. Thousands of people are using it to get rid of their toe fungus. You can check it out at crystalflesh.com. Jake started off with a small spot on his big toe and then it spread and got really bad. His toes were nasty. It was so embarrassing. He was afraid to take his socks off. He hid his yellow and crumbly toes from everyone. He tried everything to get rid of it. Nothing helped. And then we found crystalflesh.com. It was the only thing that worked. In just a few weeks, his toes looked amazing. He's now walking around barefoot again. You guys need to try this. I'm telling you, this stuff is different. It's not sold in stores, but go check it out at crystalflesh.com. They'll even let you try it risk-free, so you have nothing to lose. But whatever you do, don't let it get worse. You don't have to live with this anymore. Go check it out now. Just click over to crystalflesh.com.
As you age, your body's natural healing and rebuilding